Muhumusa was the wife of the king of Rwanda called Rwabugiri, who died in the 1890s. When he died, one of his sons was supposed to become king, but he was deposed. So the son of Muhumusa was deposed. So she then fought the Germans at the time who had taken over Rwanda. And in her fight, she also offended the Belgians because, you know, the British as well. So she fought for about 40 years. 20 years? Yeah, 20 years. And she became the most famous freedom fighter in the 1910s and 1920s at that time. But she originally was from what is now Uganda. She was born in what they call Mporo, just across from the lake here, on the other side of this Kazinga Channel. So she then tried to unify Mporo Kingdom, which will now become 6 countries, but she tried to unify that, and she claimed that she had, in order to unify these 6 states, there had been one state prior. They broke up around about 1760 is when they became 6 separate states. But when she was married off to, when she left Rwanda, she came back, and she said she had found the royal drum of Mporo. That's allowed her to claim all the 6 kingdoms as hers, which then caused some Africans to rebel against her also. But she was an organized fighter, and her husband had been a warlord, a very good commanding general as king of Rwanda. So she'd grown up from a tradition of warriors anyway. So she became the first anti-colonial fighter. She began fighting the Germans, then she ended up fighting the British, and she ended up fighting everybody. And she became an inspiration for other freedom fighters across Africa and across the rest of the world. The Bahoro at that time used to wear dreadlocks. And they used the word Nyahbinghi to mean God. So now the Nyahbinghi became a cult, so-called. And even today, in Jamaica, they are adopted. Of course, some Jamaicans had dreadlocks prior to that, but the Nyahbinghi cult became very impressive, and it fused with Haile Selassie's also resistance against the British in the 40s. So now in Jamaica, you have the Rastas, who are named after Rastafari. Now they call them Rastafaris or Rastafarian. And then you have the Nyahbinghi, who are now a subset of the Rastafarians, and these dreadlocks. And they keep the names of the Rwandans, the Rwandan generals and fighters. These names are still used now in Jamaica and many parts of the diaspora now, and even here, of course. Muhumusa is a very, very popular name in Uganda because of that woman. But you know, there's Mutabaruka. Mutabaruka is a Rwandan name or Bahoro name. Mutabaruka is a warrior who's returned from the battlefield. That's what it means. Okutabara is to rescue in a military rescue. If I send soldiers to help you, Nimbana Tabara. So Mutabaruka is either a person who has rescued others or who has been rescued or has returned from the battlefront. So, you know, and these are names. When she was eventually captured, but she negotiated the terms of her imprisonment, so she was given a palace and kept under house arrest for 20 years in Buganda, next to the palace of the Kabaka. But she had her cows there, and it was a big palace. But during that time, she was famous. And when she died, the head of the UNIA, the United Negro Improvement Association, or something like that, it was the biggest black diaspora organization for Pan-Africanism at the time. And the head was called Marcus Garvey. He was Jamaican. He was traveling back to Jamaica, and the news came over the wires that Muhumusa had died, so he did an event for her to commemorate her passing. But you know, so that's the interest with the diaspora. Muhumusa is a very important figure. in the early part of the 20th century because she was the most famous, along with Kabalega and Rwabugiri and others, but she was the most famous. First, she had the tradition of being a leader. She had governed the country, Rwanda, before, with powerful armies that were able to negotiate with Germans for how they were going to be colonized. But beyond that, she also became a cult figure. They believed that her ability to fight was from God and Nyahbinghi, and that she had inherited the royal drum of Ompororo, which had been founded after the death, or because of the death of another queen of Busongora, in fact, called Chitami Chanyawera. So she appeared to be channeling the spirit of Chitami. And so, and remember that at the time, spirituality was a thing then, more than now. So they could not believe that anybody could do anything. There are people who are extremely religious, that all the help you get in winning is from God, you know. So, and she believed that herself and from the ancestors. And in a way, she's right. Whether you look at it scientifically or spiritually, she was fighting to preserve the independence of Africans. And Africans have a history that's very old, so that is what she was defending. And they have a spirituality. We understand ourselves in a certain way, and we relate to the earth in a certain way. And we have values and the way we understand how the world works or how the universe approaches things and things like that. And it's part of the importance of human knowledge that has been mediated by our environment and our bodies and our experiences as Africans. So it's important to preserve that. And she did. She tried the best she could, yeah. So, and that's why she's important for us.
Well, let me hear you say,